Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting for the Town of Tusten Town Board. Call the meeting to order and join in the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 1.3, the payment of bills. General expended $140,317.88. Highway $70,539.13. Water District $24,535.86. The Sewer District $24,754.35. And the Lighting District $1,415.56. For a total $261,562.78. Kevin and Bruce did the bills. Any issues? No. A motion to accept and pay the bills is presented. So move. A second? No, second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Before we get into our division reports, we are going to jump into old business 3.1 for a pavilion progress report. And gosh, it's all you. Thank you for coming. We appreciate you taking the time out to come up and just give a brief description of the cold weather and the hurdles that we jump over.
As you guys have seen, progress has come to a standstill. The students left for winter break in the middle of December. They recently just got back this week. We got everything settled down in. We had some staffing issues on the center that we should have worked out now. So as soon as the weather breaks, we will be back down there and start making kind of progress. Our students don't have cold weather gear. Most of them have jackets, but don't have snow pants. So when it's below the 30s, it's just not safe to have them out there.
Yeah. I think that's pretty understandable.
I'll actually have my guys down there to do everything except for the roof. So I was talking with our carpentry instructor, and our hope is potentially next week to get down there for weather breaks.
Sure.
I don't have any other major projects, so as soon as we get an opportunity, we'll get down there and try to get something moving.
And how much time do you think it'll take if you can work on it?
I'm the electrical instructor. I'm not the carpentry instructor. My guys are getting screws in. The beam that's going up, it might be honestly probably a week's worth of work.
Oh,
is what I would assume anyone that's done
well, whether there's
carpentry work and speak more intelligently on that. But it's fairly simple what's there.
the work that has to happen.
Yeah,
Well, it is that time of the year.
Yeah.
Cold, windy. The flats can be pretty chilly. The board have any questions for?
Just as the material that's been sitting there, that's not gonna be affected by sitting there in this weather.
nope, that material is gonna be, once it's complete, it'll be undercover, but it'll still be outside exposed to the element.
But
Hot, cold, humidity,
there's just been issues, right? Social media where everyone's so positive.
absolutely. Yeah, it's wood, it's gonna be outside regardless.
I did, Kevin, just so you know, Jim Crowley, I touched base with Josh and Jim Crowley regarding that, and he had said, like he's saying, unless it gets really, really warm and it starts to rain, that's the only time that we have to actually get a tarp and start tarping. But until then, like he said,
Yeah, Jim's been watching progress on it.
All right.
It's been good. Did he watch progress until the building committee gets up and running?
So
Okay.
it's a minor point. I don't think it's been addressed yet. The rebar that's sticking up outside of those standard, there's been rebar. I don't know whether that was part of the concrete pad or whether it's a
Well, I think that's reinforcement for the,
Yeah,
what's the word I'm looking for?
post.
For the,
Bracing.
it's the bracing,
Bracing.
yeah.
So, is there anything that can be done to, I just worry about somebody getting hurt.
Well, you've got the barrels over it right now, correct?
Well, then somebody took the barrels off, you know, and
You know what, I can go grab some tennis balls and have either myself or the highway department throw them over top of it.
I didn't think of
We
that.
can take care of that
Okay.
until you get back down there, so you're not gonna be there, so I will I will make sure that that gets. Well, I appreciate you taking the time out to come down and inform the board and give us an update. If we've got no further questions, we'll let you get back to living life.
Good.
Thank you. Our division reports, for those again that are not read here at the meeting, they will be available online. Oh, great. Okay. Looks like the Energy Committee gets to go first. The town has been informed by the New York Power Authority that Simcon Lighting, which is the owners of Quintella Streetlight Asset Management Platform, has suspended their lighting business operation. Quintella is a company that the town of Tusten uses. As a result of this shutdown, materials manufacturing has ceased, and Quintella will no longer manufacture control nods or gateways, which are the devices used to monitor the lights that communicate the status. All software products are at end of life, and no additional enhancements or software patches will be made available. And all Quintella open purchase orders are canceled, which we do not have any currently with Quintella. For the short term, the lights will operate as expected. However, if and when the nodes or the gateways fails, the lights will lose their smart functionality and will default to operating on the standard photocell dusk to dawn setting. So currently we have two options. The first is we do nothing, and the second is we mitigate to a new service provider. The town has been given 4 maintenance options that are available moving forward. Option 1 is to do nothing and continue with the NIPA maintenance service and replace the failed control nods with standard photocells. The town would be responsible for notifying NIPA of the outages as the equipment fails, similar to what we had with NICEAG. This option has no cost other than the maintenance agreement costs that we currently have with NIPA. Option 2 is to migrate to the Signify platform, which includes discounted pricing and a NIPA cost share. The upfront cost to mitigate to Signify is $28,727. The system will work on self-service and allow for monitoring. However, control nods for the decorative fixtures are not scheduled for deployment until Q2 of 2025. Option 3 is to mitigate over time, replacing the failed nodes or gateways with Signify equipment. There's no pricing discounts and no NIPA cost share in this. The cost is $16,050 for the light monitoring, and the controls will be split between 2 dashboards until the mitigation is complete. The install labor for that would be covered under the NIPA maintenance agreement. Option 4 is to purchase the nodes at a discount. The customer ourselves would install and manage maintenance, monitoring, and repairs. That's $8,560 for the nodes, and the town is responsible for the installation labor, which is approximately $23,360 is figured in option 2. And NIPA is going to be looking for a decision by January 31st on what action the town wants to take regarding this. Questions?
What are we monitoring?
Who's
doing it?
The streetlight. NIPA currently is monitoring that for us, and that's, I should have done a screen share for you. That's so we can go actually on and see which ones are working and not working. And then NIPA, by that monitoring, will send out a crew to do any of the repairs.
Well, what's their history actually doing things like that? We don't have a history with them.
Well, New York Power Authority is NIPA.
Yeah.
Their history, they're a state agency. They've got the history to come out and do it. Signify is just a new company that would be used in order to do the monitoring, if we choose to go with the monitoring.
So we pay tens of thousands of
Yeah.
dollars for somebody, for the street light to notify the electric company that they're out, instead of we picking up a telephone and calling and saying our light is out.
Correct.
what did we pay Quintella or whatever last year, and what did we get from them?
That was part of the, grant installation operation, and it included the platform that will continue on until such time as the nodes that are inside the streetlights don't work. We've still got that platform. Currently, I believe we still owe on the streetlights, but that's not Quintel. That was part of the overall cost. We're paying $1,400 a month back per month on the bond in order to pay that down. So this is separate to the payment of the, this is just for the monitoring and the maintenance agreement that we have.
And what is the cost of the maintenance agreement, do you know?
Believe it's $4,000 a year. That we've got it on a 4-year agreement. And that's for them to come out and put these nodes and stuff in or replace as part of the process if things fail. And then we also have with that maintenance how much they would charge us per hour if we decide we want to put extra lights in. So the maintenance agreement is good. What it comes down to is, does the board want to continue with a monitoring program? The monitoring, when they wanted the streetlights or the Wi-Fi and all that, then you really kind of needed the monitoring program in case something went bad.
So, but like Jane said, as opposed to sort of citizen.
Well, what used to happen was we would drive around and somebody was responsible monthly to drive around and then repair what was out and notify.
That's why you need somebody on the energy committee. It's like, it's,
That's what I used to do. When I was supervisor in the past, that's what I did. Once a month, you would go out, you would take your ride with you, who was thrilled to death with a pad, and you would start writing down notes.
how many streetlights are there?
113, 114. That's just a rough guess off the top of my head.
But it's 70 cents a mile now, I'm not kidding.
When you try to do it the shortest mile possible. Anyway,
It seems like a lot of money for a monitoring service.
It's the discounted, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm done, I mean, it seems like a lot of money for a monitor.
right. The discount comes out that if you buy the nodes up front, they're $80. And if we don't buy them up front in option 3, it's $150. But they have a life of 5 to 10 years. So these are not nodes,
Right.
And the kind of thing in option 4, a customer installs and manages maintenance, monitoring, and repair. Installs, who does that?
we'd have to hire someone with a bucket truck,
And
to be honest with you, number 4, we don't want to start being responsible for providing labor. So,
Right, okay.
I would be against number 4. Number 1 is the default. That's the one that's got no money up front. We'll pay for stuff as we need it. And we'll still have the maintenance agreement with NIPA.
Number 1 makes the most sense.
Yeah, I don't see any reason to spend $28,000 or $16,000 to be able to monitor online what we have. So,
I agree with you.
I'm all for a option that whose first 2 words are do nothing.
okay, well, I think we've got that pretty much figured out. That in new business then. That's my report.
Well, it's very clear. Thank you, Ben, for the research and everything. Yeah, it seems to me a no-brainer to do nothing at this point and to, monitor. The house, we can do that.
We've got the ability.
I think so.
Moving forward at breakneck speed. Okay,
We need to make.
I'll do that in new business.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got that in the new business. We'll make a motion to, it is option number one is a default, so if we did nothing, it would default by that automatically, so.
Conservation Advisory Council, MJ Engineering continues to work on our project. Peter Manning and I had a conversation with them. The committee is going to meet on the 16th here at 1 o'clock. And Crystal, did you get the message? They'll provide. We just need, you to set it up, please. And we did have a public meeting on December 4th, and it was successful, I think. They showed some more maps and how they're able to, we talked about how they'll overlap the maps, and I think we'll see some of that at our meeting at 1 o'clock, and anybody is welcome to come if they wish. So that's that report. Any questions?
Your meeting is at 1 o'clock
1 o'clock on the 16th, it'll be a Zoom.
of January, this Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I've been trying to jump on to those meetings.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can do that.
Okay.
It's a better meeting.
Great.
Thank you, Dave.
Okay, when you say the Zoom link, is that Zoom link, is that open to the public, a Zoom link, or is that just you're zooming from here?
I think it's just here.
Okay, that's what I
Right.
wanted to verify.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kevin with the water and sewer.
It's a dramatic month. Well, 2 was approved to go back online. Craig said that it would be online as of Thursday last week. That's a big step. It's it has higher pressure, so there may be some pressure on the, the mains and pipes, and people may see or have seen some discoloration simply from the pressure that well 2 puts out. Well 3, interestingly enough, has we've seen an uptick in production. Worried that it was pooping out, and it's gone up a little bit. But the well 2 being back online really is a great thing, because it means that we don't have to replace well 3 or repair well 3 with such immediacy. Greg addressed a water main break on the flats on Christmas night, and he had Cam, which is a major, people who handle major like main breaks and such, there on Boxing Day, as it is, and he ran that, as a new lead operator, he was all over that. He also this month told us an interesting thing. Our water tower, which is due to replace, is from another time, and measuring what goes into it was an approximate thing, which often resulted or regularly resulted in hundreds of thousands of gallons of water being spilled over. Craig devised a formula that allowed him to monitor it a little better, and the overflow has been reduced to a fraction of that. That's going to save the town and the water system a lot of money, and not, waste a lot of water. I really want to commend him for doing that. It showed a lot of initiative. What didn't come from our suggestion, it showed a lot of initiative on his part.
Yeah. Lead on it.
The income survey, we sent it out in November. I talked to Jesse Levine of RCAP. He says that our response so far has been, well, he used the word fantastic, that it's very good. But that's the good news. There's about 219 relevant properties in the water district. To get the results of the survey, for the survey to reflect something that we can expand our grant seeking ability, we need 139 responses. We currently have 65. So what he considers fantastic is a glass half full. So we'll be seeking volunteers for the lovely task of going door to door and asking people to do this. We'll also members of the committee will be approaching people that we know who haven't filled it out yet. There's some landlords in town that may or may not have passed along the survey. So we're gonna try and, get that glass fully full in time for them to, apply for grants in May. I believe the magic date there. But anyways, working along. And that's the report. But again, I have to commend Craig for some real initiative.
Did he also just give his licenses or is that you could
Yeah.
announce or maybe?
He gets out of, the house on Christmas Day and deal with the waterman, Greg, it's something you have to appreciate. Christmas night.
And save money.
Mhm.
Any questions for Kevin? The building committee will have its first meeting on February the 3rd. And we're back to grants with Jane.
Water infrastructure project, Delaware Engineering continues to work on the project. They will reformat the grant information so that that can be used to submit grants to the feds, the USDA and the CDBG, Community Development Block Grants. Again, they are waiting, as Kevin just mentioned, for that income survey, because if the income survey comes back showing that we qualify according to our income, then they can go forward with the CDBG grant and that they can do it all at once, and that would be very good. So that's really important, that survey, but they will do that. UDC, we continue to work on the open space and recreation plan, just like National Fish and Wildlife. Sullivan 180, I did submit the final report on time. I didn't hear back from them, which means that they accepted it, I guess. And what I didn't write here, and maybe then you could put it under new business, is we could discuss if we want to apply for another Sullivan 180 grant this year, because this is the time to do it.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I think I know the answer to the question, but the reformatting that grant, we haven't paid for that yet. I know we approved,
We approved it, but they haven't done it, so
so we haven't been billed. Okay,
I'm sure.
but that wasn't cheap.
No. But even if the CDBG doesn't get, if we don't qualify for that, we will qualify for USDA.
Right.
And you're part of the USDA is REAP zones, that we're in a REAP zone, so we'll get a little bit of this. Not much.
Perfect. Any questions for Jane? I just want to circle back before we go to Tusten Youth on the Upper Delaware Council. The report was submitted by Evan. And just advise the board that he has been appointed as vice chair of the UDC. Correct?
Is he vice chair of the UDC or any treasurer? I thought.
No, he's vice chair.
That's great.
Got a bump up. Add a finance to the front desk. Is Kelly gonna do a youth report?
Yes, she is.
Hello, hi, I'm here. Okay, Tusten Youth is in the process of putting together our annual schedule for the year. But right now, what we do have going on is continuing youth club, picked up after winter break. That continues on Wednesdays downstairs. We also have a program put together. Oh, sorry. We also have a program put together for skiing. We had a specific grant dedicated to winter activities, and every Friday night, Tusten Youth goes to Ski Big Bear, where they have a family night, and we are able to use the group rate that is offered to the Sullivan West School District. But for Tusten Youth residents, we pay for the children to go. But also what's neat about that is because we're such a big district, if their friends are going from Sullivan West, they also get to go and enjoy a group rate. So it's good for the whole community. That's every Friday night. And then on select Sundays, when there are non-holiday weekends, we get a little bit of a bigger turnout for these days because we offer, it's during the day, first of all. So for beginning skiers, it's perfect. We also offer the kids a first-time lesson on Sundays. So Tusten Youth is covering a lift ticket, rental equipment, and for the first time, a ski lesson. And we've had good turnouts for our Sunday programs. And again, this is offered the group rate to the whole district for school. So the kids in the community all get to go together. And as a side note to that, as we're seeing registration forms come in and who's going, we see a pattern in that last year we started this, and Crystal can confirm the exact numbers, but there's probably a good 5 to 6 kids who are part of Tusten Youth who started with us last year. They took to it and learned to ski with us paying for that for them. And their parents have since gotten, and sometimes we help find this equipment for them. They've gotten their kids equipment. They've gotten their children passes for the season. And this isn't cheap. So it's hard for parents. But because their kids have taken to it, because they came with us, we see them going now on a regular. And we have a whole new group of kids who are coming and learning. So that tells us it's a really good and successful program. And to branch off on that, we're going to be introducing tubing also at Holiday Mountain where that's offered. They have some new tubing runs. So that will be coming up in the next few weeks. So if anyone is interested in following, please follow us on social media, stop in town hall, and you can sign your kids up. Outside of that, Crystal and I just submitted all the paperwork to close out the grants for everything we did last year to the county. And we're just waiting for the new grant cycle to open up. Usually the end of February, we'll hear from the county on that. But that's about it.
Is there an age, level for the Holiday Mountain, Kelly?
There's a height for tubing. There is a specific height limit that they have to be for tubing.
I know it. I took Rosie on Friday and she's actually taller than that.
Okay, when we do,
That's the only requirement.
for, yes, for tubing, it's a height requirement.
Okay.
But skiing, go for it. They'll be, some little ones, they learn fast.
Yeah.
They do.
Any other questions for Kelly? Moving into new business, 4.1. Our bond anticipation note that we have at Catskill Hudson is due to be paid off this week. I've spoken with Ken, the attorney for the town, regarding a highway bond, which we cannot renew the ban at Catskill Hudson due to them switching into a credit union. And he was asked to come back with some numbers for us, and it looks like right now to redo the ban at the Jeff Bank would be 4% for a 1-year ban. The thought is to do another 1-year ban and see if we can't get the rates to hopefully come down as opposed to continue going
So
up.
this is a highway ban, not a bond.
It'll be a bond anticipation.
Bond
It'll be
anticipation,
renewable,
no.
the bond
Thank
anticipation.
you.
We're gonna pay down, if the original one was 850, we're gonna pay down by 50 and renew 800, right?
Yes, there'll be a $29,750 interest payment on it and then a $50,000 principal payment on it. So we'll be left with an $800,000 bond anticipation note.
Did we ever get the 50,000 from?
I don't believe the 50 has been released yet, but that will be used to go towards, this is mostly culvert. It's all all culvert.
What was the interest with Catskill Hudson?
3.5,
So we're not going on a big.
no, 0.5%. And 4% was all, the ones that came back were all the same, 4%.
Just to ask a dumb question, when you go from a ban to a bond, what are we waiting for? For the interest rate to go?
Right from now.
So we want a bond at 2%.
Well, you know, that'd be nice. Right now, I did get folks also to do it over a 15 or 20-year option, and they were much higher.
Okay.
You know, one was 5 and 5.5%, and the other one was in the upper 4s.
Okay.
So, you know, our sense of it was, let's roll it over at the low rate for another year and keep our fingers crossed that rates come down. We can have a bond anticipation note for 5 years.
Oh, I was gonna ask that. How long can you do?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
We do have to, I mean, this year we did not have to pay down, but we should because you have the money.
Yeah.
But starting next year, we would have to start making incremental principal reductions anyway, as part of the bond anticipation process as well.
How many years do we have left in the 5-year?
This is our second year now.
Okay, so in 4 years, for 3 years. Turns into a bunk.
Yeah. And like Ken had said, we are going to do a principal pay down on this as opposed to just paying interest on it. A resolution to authorize a supervisor to sign a 1-year ban for $800,000.
So move.
Further discussion, second,
I'll second it.
further discussion on that at all? Okay, all in favor? Aye, opposed? 4.2, and this just came in, it's a Spectrum Cable franchise, they want to re-up the agreement. We're not gonna do it tonight, but I think give the board some time to look at the agreement that we have and to see what we want to do with it. Last year's payment was $16,016 for the franchise. One of the things that I believe it was in the email that I sent out was they were looking to use ARPA funds to expand out the internet to the non-provided areas. Yeah, well, we've got it all earmarked, so
Yeah.
I didn't respond to that, but I will respond to it after tonight since I've been concerned
Look
about
at
it.
what the rate increases they've given to us.
Yeah.
And then put it on them.
Yeah,
In other words, if it's 5, 10, they're paying.
Yeah, I think we've got some work.
But that 16,000 reflects a 5% of their net or their gross?
That I don't.
I thought it was somewhere in there.
I've got to pull the whole
Guess
thing.
my question is, this is for cable?
This is for, yes, this is for charter communications. Spectrum.
Are there any towns that make this deal for cable and internet?
It's the same thing.
It is the same.
Yeah.
But so I'm saying,
It's the same cable. It's the
it's the same cable, but are we getting a piece? I don't get cable.
The franchise is for allowing them to run their cables through our public right of way.
I understand. I'm just saying, this 5%, is it just, I don't get cable. I haven't gotten cable since 2012, but I do get internet. Are they getting the 5% of my bill? Are we
Yeah.
getting a 5% of my bill? It's just Spectrum
Yeah,
internet.
but it's a pass through. You're, whatever you do, if you want it to be more than 5%, they pass it through to the customer.
No, I understand.
You're taxing them.
I just wondered if we've got a piece of, because look, cable's died. And if it was just cable, we'd be getting nothing.
No,
In
it's
10 years.
based on what they build.
So I just wanted to understand what that is. If it included,
Check that,
yeah.
but I'm pretty sure it's on.
Yeah.
I don't think it's on the pluses, because they charge extra for equipment, if
Right.
they give you a modem or if they give you
Sure.
a router and all that. And
I just thought for the, for the,
TV box, but I think it's the.
what we were, all right, that was my guess. But I think it's worth that.
so the syndicated TV columnist doesn't get cable.
No, because I got everything. They gave me. I mean, I just review shows.
I know, but
He's
how do you?
Huh?
He's
I would review
Streamed
things
everything.
based on,
All right, I'm cutting
In
cable
advance.
tomorrow.
we don't, that's not town business.
Well,
So that we will work on. Just bringing that to the board's attention. 4.4, the contract for the ambulance protection district. This is a
For
contract,
30,000,
I'm sorry.
for 30,000.
This was a budgeted amount that we had put through the budget, for the $30,000.
What did we pay last year?
Them to provide us. It was the 30 last year too, yeah. Last year was the year that we upped it, and then we put 30 in again this year.
There's some work on that.
But this is for the ambulance protection to the town of Tusten. Yes, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be worked on.
Yeah.
The ambulance for.
Does it have to be done this month? The contract?
Yeah, I believe that it does. We need to sit down. We're not gonna, the issues that we may or may not have with the ambulance, we're not gonna get resolved in 1 month's worth of.
Okay. I think
We'd asked the ambulance corps for other things that have never come forward
Right.
to us. Last year when we sat down with them,
maybe we should assign a committee to do.
I'm sorry, that's year?
another committee.
Well, I don't think it's been overlooked for a year. And I don't think. So I think that's, yes, I think that should be done.
I think we'll assign that to the building committee.
You need a motion to approve?
The contract for the ambulance protection district.
I'll make the motion for the contract. for the ambulance protection.
In a second,
Second.
further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I oppose. 4.5, the theater lease extension. We've got a request from the DVA for an
What
extension.
about the barrack?
Oh, that's right after that one. That's 4.6. With that one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. You're still reeling from the cable. They've requested an extension, and it's a normal yearly thing so that they can get their grant applications in and approved with the time. I believe we did this last year also. So the motion is to extend the current lease agreement with the Delaware Arts Alliance for the Tusten Theater through December 31st of 2034.
Second them.
Further discussion?
Is it 34 or 35?
34 is what he asked for. Yeah.
But they want to 10 years.
And if it's incorrect that they gave it to us, we can modify it next month for them.
Okay.
All in favor? Aye, opposed? Motion to authorize the amount of $15,000 as per the 2025 adopted budget. Payable
It's 15,450 as per the budget.
Thank you. $15,450 as per the adopted budget payable to the Tusten Volunteer Ambulance Service for the New York State Police Barracks rental space. And this is the rent that we pay to them, obviously. I would make the motion.
Second.
Further discussion on it at all? Questions? Comments? All in favor? I opposed. 4.7 is the Upper Delaware Scenic Byway contribution. This is a contribution that the townships make voluntarily to the Upper Delaware Scenic Byway for operations. $1,000 has been since the accepted.
All the towns.
Yeah.
Make that contribution.
And that's what's in the budget, so
It
I'll
is.
make that motion.
And a second,
I'll second
further discussion, all in favor? Aye,
Aye.
opposed? Tusten Youth Commission, a motion to accept the agreement between the town of Tusten and Tusten Youth Commission as presented. This is what we do each year. This one is for the $20,000 that is in the budget for the expenditure and disbursement. I would make the motion.
I'll second.
Further discussion on it.
Just for the public's, information, how much of that is reimbursed from the county?
10,000 is reimbursed, and then there's other times that they get more money back depending if they go through the state.
So even,
So it's a 10,000 town and a 10,000
right, so this 20 is really county.
correct. Because they do the work to go get the other 10.
Right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Tusten seniors, and this is a follow-up after last year that we had done a motion to accept the agreement between the town of Tusten and Tusten Social, and that's for the $10,000 that was budgeted for the 2025 year. And using the Tusten Social as the go-between for this. And that funds the different projects that they do, the
Stage session.
stage sessions and that. I would make the motion,
I'll second that.
and is there any discussion or questions on that? If not, all in favor? Aye, opposed? 4.1, Sullivan 180 grants.
Yeah, there are a couple that we're eligible for. One of them is the municipal partnership grant, and that is an award up to $20,000, of which we have to match 25%. So that would be what, 5,000. Funds can be used to offset, well, first of all, we've used that in the past to fund Narrowsburg Beautification Group's work that does so much work around town. And funds can be used to offset the cost of hiring staff associated with our project or for direct project costs such as material, equipment, and contracted services. So I think maybe.
Would that be for the lawn time?
Pardon?
Would that be for our lawn time?
Well, that's what I was thinking about, but you have to have a project.
Oh.
And then it's the part of the project.
Be for the deck replacement,
I can't hear you.
Deck
the
replacement,
deck replacement?
the deck, we've got
Downtown.
funding already approved for that.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's,
But is Greg there? See if he's
Yeah.
actually there.
I am.
Do you want to be part of this conversation?
Sure.
The reason I'm throwing you under the bus is because, or at least to be part of it, because if we're talking about staff and project costs. We're talking about the fencing and some of the trees and the beautification.
that's what I'm thinking, maybe a refurbishing of the park. I mean, did you want a leveling of it or?
There could be-
Leveling would be a wonderful project that is not currently in the budget.
yeah, and
Well,
also,
if there's $20,000, I don't know. I mean, I'm
for extending the walkway.
not,
We're pulling it back.
yeah. Walkway, I don't think.
Sounded like. Okay.
I would say that this opportunity should probably go towards something that we've been delaying. So again, leveling strikes me as a first good step because we have ways, the other projects about which we've been speaking, we do have a bit of a plan in place.
What, when is the deadline on this
March.
to submit it?
Mhm.
Okay, so we don't have to prove it today. We
No,
can
No, but
discuss this and
I want to bring awareness and
so if we brought this to the next committee meeting, Greg?
Yep, and that's on February 3rd, 5 p.m.
okay, all right. So it sounds like something that we're willing to at least entertain. That one, let me think, I think there's another one you might. Well, I don't like them. Hold on. I'm just- Right, one second. Development, maybe. There is one that's less. Not quite as. It only pays 5,000. And, yeah, well, we can talk about that because that's rolling funds up until August. So let's just concentrate on this one. Okay, so everybody think of something and we'll discuss it with the Parks and Public.
Any other new business?
Are you making us on street lighting or are we just going to let it be?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm right over that. 4.3, this street light maintenance contract.
Need a motion to approve option one, right?
Yeah, which really is just to let it default.
Let the cans kick.
Was that a
I'll make the
motion?
motion that we go with option one.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion with the motion to continue with NIPA maintenance services to replace failed control nodes and standard photo cells? Town will be responsible for notifying NIPA of the outages as the equipment fails. I have a motion, a second, all in favor? Aye. Aye, opposed. Crystal, what else did I miss?
That's it, all I have.
Okay. Any other new business from the board? I will open the floor to public comment. We'll start with online first, if there's anybody. If not, I will move to the floor. Michael.
Two very quick points. One of which I previously made to Jane already. In terms of the income survey, turns out we got two surveys.
Right,
One came to me, one came to Hazel.
right.
Yeah,
Right, so if I fill out both, we're reporting double the income.
I think one was a rental.
And no.
I,
All I'm saying is,
No.
you're trying to hit your target for the
Right.
required number. If you purge that list more thoroughly, it should only be one income report from one property.
I thought there were two, I thought there were two properties. You know, it's a Jocelyn question, but I thought that there were two properties. One was rental and one was residential on it.
No, the Steve Gregoretti bought the other house. You know,
mhm.
I'd have to look.
all I'm saying, as a suggestion, you might want to go back and look at the list
Right, there were,
and see if it can be purged so that your target number
Mhm.
comes
Lower.
down
no, I understand.
at any
And we did
duplicates.
purge a lot of
Sure.
properties that were, you know, but, and again, this was a couple of months ago, I thought there were two Hazel properties, one was rental and one was resident.
No.
Okay, that's just, I may be wrong in my,
Right, but yeah, that's, I guess my point is, yeah, again, another review of the
sure,
list might pull a few more out, which takes your
which
target down.
yeah,
Yeah.
lowers
Lowers
our,
your
what
target to
Jesse
get you
refers to
closer
as
to where
the
you wanna be.
universe.
Second point, since Kevin is not part of the discussion, I am a cable subscriber and an internet subscriber from Spectrum.
Yeah.
And right now, it's $195 a month.
What do I am not?
So $16,000 coming back from them in franchise fee seems low.
Pittance, no.
Seems like it's chump change compared to what they're
And so
charging.
I think it's supposed to reflect classes, but
Well, that's a separate issue. We're just talking about what kind of revenue is coming through on the deal here.
Mhm.
That's my point.
Question. The barracks with the troopers, the rent issue. I didn't understand that. We own the town owns the building?
No, the building is owned by the Volunteer Ambulance Corps.
Okay,
They put on an addition to house the state police, to have a barracks there, and that's the responsibility of the town to pay. The state doesn't pay that.
okay, so the town pays for the state police.
Correct.
Rent. The building from the
Yes.
ambulance corps.
Yes.
Okay,
you're not the first person to be confused by that. It's come up year after year.
yeah, okay, thank you.
The town of Liberty actually built them a barracks out there. So the town of Liberty owns the barracks. And the state
There's
is
no rent issue.
correct. Yeah,
Okay, so that's how that works, that the town that wants to see the occasional state police vehicle here pays for it.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
yeah, yeah,
That's
it's,
interesting.
Town that wants the occasional speeding tickets issued.
Yeah,
You'd be surprised how many state trooper cars are in this area anymore.
yeah.
Maybe not right down in here, but in the rest of the township, they're all over the place.
Mhm. Yeah, I do.
so the town of Highland actually had a contract after they had disbanded their constables, had a contract with the sheriff's department in order for them to provide a certain amount of, area coverage, and I believe they were spending about $100,000 for that. So they're already paying, they're basically paying for extra coverage.
Yeah.
So what we get for our rental is, at the very least, the starting and stopping of the patrols in this area.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yes, Star. Not really.
It turns out I think.
Ah.
We've had this problem.
Just what about mics again? It's on. That's on.
I'm not sure. Is it not?
We can hear you. We can talk about it. I'm not
So
sure.
it's not necessarily.
Well, I don't know.
Is that on? Not making any noise.
Hey, yeah.
Okay. I have a couple of issues that I want to discuss tonight. A huge volume of information about the lights. How long has that been posted for people to be able to see what the agreement and loss of the company?
I haven't posted it anywhere. An email that came from NIPA to the township about a week and a half ago.
I thought I saw you reading something from that about these different options and things.
Yeah, it came from the email that they sent me on what we can do.
And is that available to residents to look at?
It'll be part of my energy report. So it'll be on the energy report that'll be posted with the minutes.
I was just wondering, because one of the things they were saying that was that the very long delay of getting replacement parts for the lights up until now, was that because this company was on the skids?
I didn't say that.
I didn't say you said it, I asked. We're very,
I don't know if that, I don't know the answer to that, Star. All I know that is currently, this is where we're at, and I don't know why, if that was part of the reason why they were not getting repaired.
okay, you mentioned something about things that need to be replaced as they go along. Who's doing that replacement, the equipment? Are we going out and buying it, or?
No, the option that the town board wishes to go with and instructed me to go with remains with the NIPA being our service contractor.
And
So
who,
they will do it.
they put things up if it's needed to be replaced?
Mhm.
Do we pay them or are we?
Yeah, oh yeah,
No,
course we do.
we paying NICEAG for the.
not nice, NIPA.
NIPA, okay, so NICEAG's out of it? Weren't they before charging our? for our electric?
They charge us the electric, yes. They're the electric provider.
Okay,
NIPA is our service maintenance service agreement.
so NICEAG is still going to be collecting for a assigned number of lights, whether they're up or not, and whether they're working or not?
Correct.
Okay. I hoped when I heard you talking about looking for grants for helping with some of the monies that are being charged for the water infrastructure, is that something that the Flats residents will be able to access to help defray the cost of what they're being charged for the replacement and the improvements?
Which grant, are you talking about the RCAP and what Jane was talking about?
I'm not sure, because I wasn't clear saying that it sounded like there was some kind of grants in the works. But I don't
That's
know.
been an ongoing thing. We have been continually looking for funding for this project.
And that's linked to these.
Water
income-
department,
Yes, the income surveys that. we're
correct,
looking
yes,
for.
that's why they're so important to get the surveys in. So if you've got friends on the flats who are within the water district, please encourage them to put the survey in.
Okay, but nothing's gonna go to customers in the flats from this grant. Is that what you were suggesting? I'm concerned and have been concerned about the fact that people in the flats, I'm not even sure they knew about these special water districts, that they were responsible for whatever improvement or repairs that had to be made. It's been long known that those infrastructure systems have been decaying. I mean, they've never been addressed, and then all of a sudden, somebody put the metal down and said, now if we can't stall anymore, it's gotta be fixed. And all of a sudden, all those people on the flats were told, and you're picking up the costs. I'm not sure they knew that. I didn't know it. And I think that's not right. I think it's not right that they should have to.
Well, then you need to bring that up with the New York State Legislature, because it's a special district, and that's how it works.
Well, okay,
What's-
I've already foiled for some information from them. They told me they've come 60 days to get it to me. I will certainly follow up on that. The only other thing I wanted to mention was I've got a letter tonight that I'm going to be sending to you, and also have left some copies on the back if anyone's interested. Some county legislators are pushing to resolve the flood of trash going out of the county by getting a waste to energy incinerator and trying to burn their way out of this trash deluge. Waste to energy incinerators are totally bogus. They are completely polluting. They make forever chemicals out of the burned waste that you can't bury. You have to go to a special hazardous waste facility to take it. It does not solve the problem of the waste coming in. And in matter of fact, it affects badly the two biggest areas of income for the county residents and county businesses, which is tourism and second home buyers. As I said, I have a letter here. I would appreciate people looking at that, reading it, and calling your legislators and tell them this is not something we need in Sullivan County. We don't need to bring up the county by putting this poison in everybody's system. So that's my public comment. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else with public comments?
Can I just say one more thing?
Sure.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. I already. Going back to the surveys for the, I understand it's really important that these things get in. I filled mine out the day I got it. But if you remember, I also mentioned about one side, two side. And I'm telling you that I make $7 million. And I really prefer that you didn't know that.
And we don't know, it goes to RCAP. It doesn't go to us at all. We don't-
Okay, but do you get what I'm saying? Maybe some of the reason that these things weren't handed in is in fact that.
I completely understand.
And it's an easy fix
And
for the individual to burn two copies, but maybe they don't even.
the survey that you take online has there is no differential. Your
I did the paper.
your income, no, I understand, your income is sent to RCAP. And,
No.
and we never see it, we don't want to see it. And I understand how, my wife, when I talked about this idea, she said, are you crazy? You
Well,
know,
that's what I think you may have. That may be
No,
part of the problem.
believe
You didn't get it.
but again, I talked to Jesse, who's done this in town after town after town, and he says, when this is well explained, the need for it is well explained, people actually don't give you a lot of grief about it. This is a guy who's done it many times, so I'm taking his word for it.
All right. 39 out of 219 is
65, actually,
65.
which he says is the best he's ever seen.
also provides funding to Narrowsburg Beautification Group. I'm happy to give it, and I do report at parks and open spaces, but I'm always happy to give a report if anybody wants.
Any other public comment? If not. Board comment. I should trample you down.
Well, whatever I am. Would you just create Greg again, please, for licenses?
These
Yeah.
licenses, I think he's just, it's a great story. I mean, we've given him an opportunity to really grow professionally. And he's just really stepped up to the plate. He really has.
It requires, for that position, you require 2 separate licenses. One for water and one for sewer, and he's obtained both at this point, so.
But the initiative he's shown, you can't learn
Yeah.
feminine. I think it's great.
Okay, thanks,
And he's got a good rapport with the customer.
yes.
Yeah,
And the board.
and the board.
Yeah, definitely with the board. Next
You
meeting.
know, Fabiana, I appreciate your comment, about wanting to see some actual numbers and, you know, show us what you've done.
What activities,
What
you know, I mean,
activities
I
you're
get the emails from them, but it's always in the middle of the day and I can't attend because I'm working, so.
Right.
It would be nice to know what they're providing for the seniors.
So I'm one of the seniors that is provided for, and happily so.
Soup.
What?
How's the soup?
The soup is excellent.
Very good.
The meals are good, you know, when we filled out a survey some point, what do we like about Sage Sessions? One of the things that I put on the top was lunch. I like having a nice hot lunch served by somebody else that I don't have to think about. So, and a lot of people do, people who are, you know, maybe not even as blessed with full refrigerator. So they provide all kinds of presentations from the Park Service, from sometimes from musicians. We had some wonderful Christmas music and other kinds of music. So I'd be happy to talk about it sometime if, you know, if there's an opportunity, but, or we could just talk about it.
Yeah, I was just also wondering if they provide informational services, you know, as we age, as our parents age, to make your house more accessible. You know, what are some vendors that maybe they could do some due diligence on vendors to provide for people, because that's half the battle, right? Not knowing who to call, who's gonna rip you off. Those kinds of info, you know, I mean, I
Yeah,
appreciate the food and the entertainment,
Yeah.
but there are some things that seniors need that are really special.
One of the main
People come
participants.
from the county, giving us information about
Right.
legal services for
Yeah.
seniors and, you know, scams and things like that to be aware of. And all, Sullivan County Office for Aging has come and given. So we always have access to those.
Well, growing older together, and his name escapes me. He's an actor,
Yeah.
Tommy Cambridge. He's a main driver with this. I mean, I think he's one of the founders. And growing older, and he's
No, he
always,
didn't found
You're not?
it. Actually, Marcia Nehemiah was the one.
what, I'm sorry, I misspoke, but I'm just saying, he's at all of the ones I've gone to. And he brings the kind of information, exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, right.
Growing old together is precisely what you're talking about, letting people know the kinds of things, you know, if you're concerned about your neighbor, you're concerned about yourself.
Yeah.
And Tommy's, you know, he does a great job.
Crystal, can you see if
Founder was.
Greg has anything he wanted to add? Greg, did you have
I get
anything you
everything
wanted
from
to add
YouTube.
on board comment?
Just a reminder that the next meetings for the building committee and the parks committee are Monday, February 3rd at 4 and 5 p.m. Everything I was going to say about the SAGE sessions seems to have been covered. And just so it's official, Tommy Cambridge's title is executive director.
And the attendance is good. The last one when I went to, it filled the Kraus Hall. I mean, it was a lot of people do that.
When's the building committee?
It's just before the parks thing. It's February 3rd at 4. It's basically the same day as the water,
Yeah, it's all.
but
they-
a lot of
it's a
meetings.
big meeting.
The water is 9 AM, buildings is 4 PM, parks is 5 PM.
The first one. Yes,
Motion to adjourn,
I'll do that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?